Whit and I am the Sparta Community Branch Manager. Today we're going to do a real simple, quick craft that makes a really cute tassel keychain. So let me show you what we're going to need for our project. You're going to need some macrame cord, 3-plied, twisted, not braided macrame cord. That's important. You can use pretty much any type of cording, but this, we're going to comb it out at the end, and if it's braided or if it's a different type of cording, it doesn't comb out quite as nicely, but you're welcome to try anything as long as you has individual cording. This is 3mm cord, cotton, 3-ply, 3mm cotton macrame cord. You're going to need 12 pieces of 12 cut into 12 inches, and then one cut into 24 inches. So we have 3 colors in this because we're kind of doing it like an ombre, summery color theme. So we have a light yellow, a darker yellow, and then a kind of a bright orangey yellow, and that's going to combine into a nice ombre tassel. They come initially on these, you can find them in these big spools, but they also come in smaller packages. But again, you're going to need 12 pieces of 12 inches along with a 24-inch piece as well. So you're in 3 different shades, and that's going to make 3 different stacked tassels. So, and then next you're going to need a needle. This is just a plastic needle. This is a tapestry needle. You want it to have a pretty big eye on it, and you also want it, these plastic ones are just fine. You don't need anything fancy. Since we're making this into a keychain, you're going to want some sort of keychain findings. You can use just these little split rings are fine, but this one also has a clip connected to it. You'll want a pair of scissors, and then to comb it out, I'm going to be using a pet comb, just a steel pet comb, but also we'll use a little bit, just a plastic or metal fork, and you can absolutely just use that, and you don't have to have a pet comb. Also, a ruler is helpful for when you're measuring out your stuff. If you're going off a long spool, it's easier to measure it out with a ruler. So let's get started. We're going to start with the top knot for the top tassel, and we're going to do kind of a decorative knot on the top one, and the other ones are going to just be plain tassels. So we're going to divide this one into 4 sections, and so there's going to be three cords in each section, and kind of even them out so they're kind of ending at the same spot. It does not have to be perfect. We're going to trim them all off at the end, and it's not going to matter if these are exactly the same length. Ooh, I missed one up here. This one only has 2. So there we go. We have this divided into 4 groups of 3, and then we're going to split them in half. We're going to take one and loop it in half here. And this is kind of an important way to lay these out, just because it is going to make the knot, the decorative knot at the top of our tassel. So for this second portion we're going to lay it on top, and then this one that goes on this looped bit is going to go underneath. So I'm going to lift up the loop and tuck that underneath. So this loop just goes around, and this one goes around and under. So that's how that one is going to go. And then we're going to take this second grouping of 3 and 3. We're going to do the loop in an opposite direction. So it's looping downward. And then we're going to take this loop and tuck it underneath here. So this one, loop, and then loop over and under. So loop, loop over and under. So they're kind of opposite one another, but the loops that go under are on the 2 ends pointing each other. So now we're going to take our keychain finding, and we're going to use this little split loop here. Split ring is what that's called, a split ring. We're going to take our split, I'm saying hoops and loops and anything, but it's a split ring. We're going to take this top, the ones that go under, we're going to take the ends there and pass them through the split ring. Same thing on this other set, we're gonna take the ones that pass under and take the ends through the split ring. It's really helpful to keep these all kind of neat and tidy, and I know it looks like a lot right now, but if you just go slow, I promise you it will work out. Also, you can just take a step backwards if it gets really confusing. So we have these two passing through, and we have these ends that are, you know, it's 3 and 3, so 6, and then we have these top ends that are 3 and 3. So we're gonna take the 6 ends, and we are gonna kind of work it slowly, making sure we stay inside this ring. We're gonna work it slowly, group them together, and take them through this loop over here. All right, hoops, loops, rings. Oh my gosh, it's pretty, but I promise if you go slowly, you can get it. So again, these ends, we're gonna go through this loop over here. So everybody is connected now. So let's pull these guys a little tighter. I'm gonna push and pull, kind of hold it flat and pull, hold it flat and pull. We're gonna do the same on the ones that, all 4 ends here. So we're just slowly getting them to go into this nice decorative knot. That's gonna be our top tassel. You're just gonna ease them in. So our ring that we have gone through is gonna kind of lay underneath. We're creating a little square here. So we're gonna pull through. I keep covering it with my hand, I'm sorry, but once we get a little tighter, then you can pull individual pieces if you notice some of them are looping out a little bit more, but kind of try to pull them as a group. I'm just gonna show you, you're pulling there, we're pulling this guy tighter, so I'm gonna hold it here and pull it tighter, and it tightens over here, hold here, and pull it tighter. Okay, so once you kind of get it like loosely together and it's forming that, then you can pick it up and tighten it. You never want to tighten it down like where it's like, so you could never like get it undone, because we are going to rearrange the pieces to make it lie nice and flat. So we're just going to ease it in to look real nice and pretty. But you don't need to worry too much about getting this one pretty. See how I'm leaving it flat on my hand and then I'm pulling the ends tight? Because this is the bottom, it doesn't really matter. We're going to flip that over, and here's the top of your knot. So it's kind of looking a little bit twisted right in here, so it's real easy. Just move things around. You can manipulate it pretty easily in this stage still. So where's that guy? I'm gonna flip him over the rest of his pals there so he lays nicely in a line, and we'll pull tight and tight. Oh, this guy's a little out of place, so we can move him over as well. And then this guy, I want him to lay nicely as well. So it's just a matter of kind of manipulating it to lay right where you want it to lay, and then tightening it up as you go. So again, this one is not cooperating. I want it to lay nicely, so I may flip it around. Yeah, see, we're gonna move him all the way around the back so that he lays nicely. Plays well with his friends. All right, so again, pull tight. Let's get him to lay nicely as well. All right, pull tight. Tight. All right, so that, oh gosh, this one's being a real, all right, I'm gonna argue with you by flipping you over on the back here. See, where are you? Which one are you? There we go. Nicely next to his friends. This guy's also crossing over. So if this guy's misbehaving, so if I pull on him, I can see which one he is over here, and I can pull him over where he's supposed to be. Get over there, play next to your friends. All right. There we go. Oh gosh, one more. So this is a bit of a process. You just kind of have to move and scoot them to where they're supposed to be. So once you get them arranged how you want them to look, this makes a nice little like 4 square, and then you can make sure they get tight as you want them to be. Again, don't really tighten it down to like where it's immovable. You do want to be able to work with it a little bit, but get it pretty nice and neat and tight. It's gonna make this nice little knot design there, and your ring is gonna be going through that. So you're gonna want, so it's lovely, but it's not a tassel by any stretch of the imagination. So we're gonna kind of pull down on it and bring all of the ends together. So So now we have kind of a little octopus looking fella there, and this is where we're going to tie it off right here to make it look like a tassel. So this is where our 24-inch piece of macrame cord comes in. You're going to lay it about halfway through the tassel. You're going to loop it around, and you want to keep this loop right here at the top. You're going to hold it with your thumb or hold it down so it doesn't move, and you're going to start wrapping around. You want to keep that loop though. You don't want to pull out your loop, and wrap around the loop. Kind of keep an eye of where your cord is laying. You're gonna wrap it pretty tightly. You kind of want this is going to be on the outside. You definitely want it to be looking nice. So once you get to where you have about an inch or two of your wrapping cord left, you're going to take it and pass through the back side of the loop that you made earlier. And then you're going to take your little short bit that you started the loop with and pull the loop, and it's going to tuck your cord back behind your wrapping. So, and again, you can manipulate that a little bit to make it look nice and pretty. So it kind of disappears behind the cord. You're going to take your scissors and snip it down a little bit shorter and kind of tuck it in behind here. You need to make it even shorter than that. Ooh, try not to cut your cord. You want to keep nice, but just get it snipped real close. If you're feeling like that was insecure or anything, you could definitely put a dot of glue on there if you wanted to. But I'm just gonna kind of roll the rest of the cording up over the shaggy end there. And that is how we're gonna have our knot all nice up here, and then our tassel down here. If you see some of this is like a little bit looser than you would like it to be, you can definitely still pull on the threads below. And so this one's gonna pass through here and go over here. So its threads are somewhere, its cording is somewhere over here. You can pull on individual ones and adjust them to make them look how you want them to look. Make them lay how you want them to lay. So you kind of trace where they go into the tassel and pull those. Oop, that one, pull that one. So it is a little bit of a, trying to figure out where each one goes and which one will affect, pulling which one will affect which one. So, and if you pull one too tight and you're like, wow, that looks weird now, you can get underneath here with your embroidery needle or something you can slip underneath there and kind of loosen it up a little bit to make it match it's the ones next to it. Let's see, if you can't find out where that one goes, you can want that guy to lay flatter. There he is. Okay. There we go. There's a nice little. All right, so that's our first tassel, and we're gonna leave that be. We'll get to evening up the bottoms and brushing it out here in a second. Let me do the middle tassel, and then this one is a little bit different and definitely a lot easier. So let me show you how to do that. So we have, again, the 12 pieces that are 12 inches, and then one piece that is 24. I'm gonna line them up roughly. They don't need to be perfect because, like I said, we're gonna be cutting off the ends and evening it up at the end. But let's try to get them close to each other. Ish. This is gonna be ish. All right. Perfection is the enemy of good. So, all right. But we don't want them to be tangled. Oh, look at those guys. What? How did that even happen? No, we're not doing that. So, well, that one has already started unraveling for us, so that'll save us a little bit in the end. All right, so we have them kind of lined up. We're gonna fold them in half. So with our 24-inch one, we are going to, so this is 3 plies. We're gonna pull out one of the plies here. So I'm gonna do that by untwisting it a little and then finding one that's gonna come loose. So they're kind of like little bundles. The plies are little bundles within the twist. And we're just gonna pull out one of the little bundles. Sometimes they like to come out by themselves. Sometimes they are persnickety. Come on, be nice. All right, here comes some. This one, sure, perfect. All right, so it will get twisted, but just go slowly. And if I untwist along the way, it untwists itself. So I untwist it, and pull. And then I untwist it, and pull. Looks like I got 2 and 2 plies here, so I really wanted, this said that it came as 3 plies, but when I pull it apart, it really looks like 4 plies. So, sometimes with craft supplies, it's not exactly what was on the package, especially stuff like macrame cord, which is kind of, it's not like it's a federally regulated craft supply or anything like that. Anyway, all right, so we're gonna work on this and it will come undone, yay! All right, so now we have a couple different pieces here. So because these are the ones that are gonna go underneath, they're gonna go underneath this tassel, and this is the only one that's gonna have the visible top. We do not need to make these pretty. They need to just be functional as tassels. So I folded this in half, and we're gonna just tie the top here. I'm gonna tie this with a surgeon's knot, just so it won't come loose. So we're gonna go under like a regular knot and then under one more time. And so we'll have 2, it'll go kind of like a double loop underneath. And then we're gonna do a double surgeon's knot. So the same thing, we'll go under like a regular knot and then under one more time. And then the nice thing about surgeon's knots is they don't back out on themselves. So they won't come untied. Thanks, surgeons, for figuring that out. It's what I use to truss my turkey at Thanksgiving. All right, we're gonna cut these to maybe just a couple inches at the end so we have something to hold on to but not get all tangled up. So now we have the rest of this thread. We're not gonna have a fancy top or anything, so we can just wrap it like we did before. Again, create a little loop and then wrap it around. This one's not, because it's not gonna necessarily make as big, we're only using half of the ply. It's not gonna make quite as thick of a wrapping, but again, we don't need it because no one's gonna see it. Then we're gonna do the same thing where we tuck it through the loop we created. It does get a little frayed knot. I'm gonna pull, loop through, pull, come on. There we go. And pull it tight and snip this guy off. So this one I'm gonna leave, honestly, the other ply in here, because it's about the same length as the rest of them, and when we brush it out, it'll just kind of go into the rest of the knots. So those are the 2 different tassels that we're gonna make. I already made a sample, I already made the 3rd one up. So now let's look at how we're gonna trim them and how we're gonna combine them. So the first one we're gonna trim is the top knot, because that's going to give us an idea of how long we want the other knots to be. Because while it's gonna be a staggered look, it's all gonna be based off this first knot. So usually I get it all straight, and I kind of look and see what's the shortest one, and cut to that one. If you've ever cut your own bangs, this is going to bring back a lot of memories, so brace yourself. It's kind of the same idea, we just kind of want to get a straight line. So shake it out a little bit, and then we're going to look at how they fell here. We're gonna trim these again, so this first cut doesn't have to be perfect, but if you pull it between your fingers, kind of make it flat, you can get a, kind of close. If you have nice sharp scissors, that is helpful. Kind of close idea too. And again, this doesn't have to be perfect at this stage. It doesn't have to be perfect at any stage, but this stage especially doesn't have to be perfect. So I'm gonna take the next layer and we're gonna lay them next to each other, and that's where we're gonna get the idea where to cut this second one. So right about here, I'll cut off a few, boop, and that'll give us where to cut these. All right, so I can just hack them away a little bit, and then we can clean them up. Again, like when you cut your bangs that one time and you regretted it. But luckily, this is not your hair. All right, so again, do line them up a little bit. Oh, helps to get them straight and laying nice and flat with each other. And all right. Again, just kind of close, because here's the thing, we're gonna comb these all out, and then in that process we may make it uneven again. So if these aren't perfectly even, we don't need to worry about it at this stage. We just kind of want to get them close because it helps us, well, maybe not cut off that little big chunk that's hanging out there, because it will help us why brush through all this if we don't have to, right? So there's those, and again, this guy I already brushed out, but I didn't trim him to length too, because I hadn't made this tassel yet, so he's kind of just a guess at this point. So this is what it's gonna look like when it's brushed out, obviously. That being said, you can totally leave it unbrushed if you'd like. It is just a different look. I like the brushed look. It makes it look like a silly little mop. But anyway, let's get these. Again, this is where, you know, if you're going for perfection, this is where you're gonna want to be. Once you've brushed it out, you're gonna want it to look a little bit more perfect, but it's fine. We can make it work either way. All right, so let's look at how we brush these out. Like I said, you can absolutely use a fork, and you just want to start at the bottom and loosen up all those twists, and it absolutely works with a fork. A metal fork may be better, though. That would sound horrible on this table. So I'm saving your ears by using this plastic one, but also this plastic one works fine as well. So you want to, like when you're brushing out tangly hair, you want to start at the bottom if you can, you know, as much as you can, and then work your way up. So you can do that, but let me show you. I like to use this, it's a pet comb, just a steel pet comb, and it has wider teeth and finer teeth, so you can brush it with the wide teeth first and then get it really neat with the fine tooth comb. So it does sound awful on the table, so I won't do that. So you can hold it in your hand and just go through it, and it usually goes pretty fast. And there's gonna be tangles, there's gonna be knots, but no tears, because this isn't a head of hair, luckily, but very similar. You can also, if you like this look, you can brush it out just on the bottom and then leave the top more together, and that creates an interesting look too. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to brush through all of this as quick as I can, but you can see how this is working. And this is just with the wider end of the comb so far. You can also use a plastic comb for sure, that will work. Whatever you have. You could honestly use your fingers if you had a lot of patience, but I do not, so this is what works best for me. But luckily this cotton and the 3-ply twist is really easy to brush out. Like I said, you can use jute or a different type of cording, and it will work, but what your brush out will look like really depends on how the cord is put together. If it's braided, that can be brushed out, but it's a little bit, you're gonna have to take some time on it. You'll have to undo the braids, but it does make it really like wavy. So we have them untangled, and all the bits brushed out. Here on this one, this is going to be the bottom tassel, so we really don't need to untangle it fully because we won't be seeing this part. So I kind of left this still in a little bit of a twist. This one is going to be the top one, so I brushed it out as best I could. Now you'll notice down at the bottom, it is not perfect anymore, not by any stretch of the imagination. So this is where we're gonna go back in and do a little bit more trimming just to make it really nice and neat. Also, you'll see it got real fuzzy at the bottom. So again, you kind of can pinch it between your fingers there. Surely I'm not the only one who gave myself bangs in the 90s and had some regrets, and this reminds me so much of it. Those blunt bangs were really a thing. But anyway, enough of that. So you could just want to kind of, and then shake it out a little bit. And then I kind of try to do it from a different angle so we can see if we missed any. So kind of flatten it out a different way. You can use your brush again since it's mostly untangled. And see now it's at a real weird slopey angle. So we're like, oh, so this is going to be, it is a little bit of a process to get them pretty evened up. So don't go crazy. You want some left over, but you want to get them as even as you can. It's pretty satisfying to trim these though. Come on. All right, just another brush through there. Oh, I can already see a spot I'm missing. Okay, you could honestly work on this for a long time and take a long time to get it perfect, but again, I don't think it needs to be super duper perfect. Just get the chunks that are sticking out real obviously and get those evened up. Because eventually this is going to be spread out over another tassel underneath it and you won't be able to see one side from the other. So it doesn't have to be exactly. Well, this guy, let's try him. He's actually a little bit more even than the last one. So even him up really fast. Again, brush him out. Pretty good. Just get the big chunks that are sticking out. Oh no. Be careful. It's really easy to just keep going and going and going. All right. And then we'll get the last one. Like I said, this one I didn't worry too much about untangling at the top because it's going to be the very base one and it is not going to be seen up there. So this guy's a little wonky because I cut him long at first. Also kind of doing this at a weird angle, looking over the edge of my fingers, so you know. Gosh, get off there, guys. And shake these out. Need to kind of make little tiny brooms too, if you need a little tiny broom. Maybe a mop. Maybe a mop would be a better comparison. All right. I'll poke you out, guys, and I think we will be done. All right. Boop. All right. So now we have our 3 tassels. We're going to take a length of the top color cord, probably just a little over 12 inches, like 14 to 16 inches. It doesn't need to be super exact. We do want it to be a little bit longer though. So let's get on a little bit. We're gonna split this cord like we did before because we don't need the full amount. So again, untwist it a little and I'll start fraying for you. I'm gonna try to pull out, yeah, there we go. Just one ply out of there. Come on, work with me, buddy. All right, and just untwist and untwist and untwist. It'll come loose. There we go. So this is one single ply, and then here's the other plies still twisted together. So we're gonna take this single ply and our tapestry needle. We're gonna twist it, twisting and untwisting, fold it over on itself, and then use this little loop that is kind of harder, a little bit stiffer because we twisted it on itself, to thread the needle. So this is where we're going to connect these all together. First, I'm going to cut these short. We don't need them as handles anymore. So we're going to start with this guy because he's the base. I'm going to open him up and try to do it as neatly as you can, but it's not super duper important. This is going to get a little bit tangly and messy here for a little bit, but it'll all work out in the end, I promise. So we're going to take our tapestry needle and stick it right in the center of this guy and try to go through the center of the tapestry, the tassel here with the tapestry needle. You may have to work it around a little bit. I am, because it's deciding not to come through. Come on, you can do it. All right, well, you can feel him in there. Come on. Erg. This is the point where, ah ha ha ha, there it is. Okay, so never give up. All right, so let that trail out through the bottom of the tassel. And we're gonna go to our second one. I'm gonna shake him out and find his center on the bottom here. Again, it gets a little unpretty for a while, but don't worry about it. I do try to like not have a lot of big knots and crosses over in the center, so we don't want to get more tangled than it has to be. I'm gonna do the exact same thing and feed the tapestry needle up to the center and try to get it. Oh, that one went easy. See, there we go. It can work that way. And stack them on top. Not pretty right now, but it's fine. We'll get there. All right, and so here's our top guy that we're gonna shake out and find our center. Kind of make him a nice little, keep talking about this like it's hair, so that we're trying to, center part here. So, all right, same thing. I'm gonna go up through here. And this one, I wanna be a little bit more careful because again, we have this decorative element up at the top. So I wanna try not to split any of the cord with the needle. So if it's coming through a cord, oh, there it came up perfectly between some cords. So it didn't split any of them. And so we're gonna pull it through. We're gonna make it's tailing all the way through. You don't need to be there. It's tailing all the way through. We wanna make sure we keep some on the end. We're gonna go back in. I'm gonna try to follow what's up there. So this, this goes this direction, this goes this direction, but also go over this split ring as well, so that we kind of add a little bit more strength to it. So I'm going to take this back down through the tassel, but I'm gonna try to follow this little split between the two pieces of macrame cord as well. So get down in there. All right, we have to dig through all these things and find where the needle came out. All right, try to get it as untwisted as you can, but then you're gonna go, don't lose your thread up here. You're gonna go back down again, not in the exact same spot. This one, the bottom tube does not have to be as pretty as far as where you're going through. Let's get this guy tucked all the way in and all the way through this guy. All right, let's find him. So we don't need, again, I don't really like splitting. There's some of these are kind of more intact here at the base. I try not to split through because it just it wants to tangle if you do that. So again, we're gonna go down through with the tapestry needle through. You can pull this, let's see, where are we up here? Let's pull this guy all the way through. Both of these, there we go. And then we can pull them a little bit longer. Oh, come on. There we go. Boop. All right, I'm gonna have to rethread this guy, but it's okay. So the same thing, I just twisted it and looped it, and then that makes it a little bit stiffer to go through the eye. And then slide him down, and we're gonna, again, try to put him down on a different spot on the top of the tassel, but kind of towards the center. Come on. This tassel has been argumentative this whole time. Come on, buddy. All right, and then we're gonna stick it through and find him. There he is. All right, if he won't go through, the needle won't go through, you can hold on to the table and push it down. Come on. There we go. All right, so now we have two ends that have gone through one way and back out the other way, and we want to stack these. So we'll pull it tight. Again, it doesn't have to look pretty yet. So so we have now the two pieces, and we're gonna do the same, the surgeon's knot again. So cross, under, and under again. And pull it tight. And then double it up. So cross, under, and under again. And pull it tight. Sometimes if I'm feeling really, I will just do a loop knot down just to make it pretty at the end. Those surgeon's knots are not going to come undone. Oh, come back here. Sorry. But I don't want it to be pretty. All right, and then pull that tight. So, and then we're going to cut this off because it does not match. And there we go. No, just kidding. We're not done. So now this is where we want to make it look all pretty. So sometimes it's going to get tangled up in the one above it. And we just pull them out and straighten them out. And we'll get them all looking nice and lovely. We're going to want them, come on. Sometimes they're going to tangle while we were manipulating them. Now, so I used, I told you the measurements of what we used. If you used more cord, it would make big, fluffier, even fluffier ones. If you use less, it would be thinner. If you used only 2 tassels instead of 3, if you just made 1 tassel, just the top tassel is also a thing you could do. So there's lots of options on this. I like the 3 tiers. I think it just looks nice and appealing to the eye. You could also do it all in one color. And of course you could do it in any color, a whole rainbow of colors if you wanted to. Yeah, you could also make 20 tassels if you're really feeling ambitious. So kind of shaking it out here helps kind of get the layers to lay into each other correctly. This guy is tucked up somewhere weird. So let's scoot him over and twist him so he is covering up the bottom one. Sometimes it will like kind of go to one side and not go around and leave a little gap in coverage. So you kind of have to just manipulate it around until it lays how you want it to. All right, so once you get this all brushed out and laying where you want it to lay, there's a weird bump in here. Come on, buddy, why are you being that way? Kind of twist and move it where you want it to go. Then you have a finished project. If one is like, you find one that's like long, weird, you can just clip that off. Definitely if you can, if this one, this layer's a little bit longer, if you wanted to trim that, it would be a little tedious because now that they're all together, they will get all over each other, but it's definitely doable. But there you go. You have a little fun tassel keychain. And you can also do them in multiple colorways. Of course, these are the ones we're using at Sparta for our loaner USB drives. So if you come into Sparta and you need a USB drive, this is what we're going to hand you. So that's exciting. But yeah, there you go. Also, if you're feeling very festive, I'm going to say earrings for sure. But anyway, that is a fun summer tassel keychain. So enjoy.